What does the ACL injury to Giovanni Leone really tell us? Is the Florian Wirtz criticism really justified? Konate is still looking for Real Madrid, and is Marc Guehi going to be a Liverpool player in January? It's a massive, massive month for Liverpool Football Club coming up with a tough trip to Crystal Palace away in the Premier League. They've also got Crystal Palace in the next round of the EFL Cup. But the title race could be open. It could be closed. Is it a one-horse race? Are Arsenal really in it? We've got a lot to get in this video. If you haven't already, please go down, drop a like if you're new around here, and make sure you do hit that subscribe button. We are less than 200 away now from 79,000 subscribers, with loads of football coming your way. Arsenal have got Newcastle United at the weekend. Tottenham play Wolves in a game which we should comfortably get 3 points. But the most interesting game of the weekend for me is Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. And I want to start with Florian Wirtz, right? The criticism of the player right now, I think, can be justified, right? He joined Liverpool for £116 million when you include the add-ons. However, some of the criticism, I think it's fair to say that he needs to be better. I think that's justified. I also think it's justified that he, at times, is in the wrong area of the pitch. For instance, at times you've seen games where McAllister is receiving the ball from Florian Wirtz deep in and around where the number 6 should be. I think it should be the other way around. McAllister should be the one playing the ball into the final third for Florian Wirtz, then take up those little pockets of space, play that killer ball through to Isaac, to Ekitike, to Chiesa, to Salah, whoever it may be. But some of the criticism, £100 million flop. First things first, he does not get to decide his price tag, right? He's joined Liverpool off the back of a very, very, very impressive year in the Bundesliga, right? He's played 5 Premier League games. 5. The criticism right now is, for me, very, very over the top. If he still is playing, with mediocre performances come 25, 30 Premier League games, then I think you can justify, some of the criticism, right? But he's only just turned up at Liverpool. He's 22 years of age. His record in the Bundesliga and at Leverkusen speaks for itself. He's played 7 games in a Liverpool shirt when you look at the Champions League and when you also look at the Community Shield game he played, because he didn't register in the League Cup. It's outrageous. He will come good. Just give it time. And right now, should we really be focusing on the criticism of Florian Wirtz? No, when Liverpool have won 7 games in a row. For me, it's absolutely madness. Now, Giovanni Leone did get an ACL injury recently, which pretty much will rule him out for majority of this season. Now, Liverpool have got be brutally honest, a tough run of games coming their way. Crystal Palace at the weekend, for me right now, is as tough as it gets in terms of an away fixture. They are 16 games unbeaten. They are firing all cylinders. They're winning games. They're keeping clean sheets. They're getting the right results. Crystal Palace, defensively have been stronger than Liverpool this season. Right, when you actually look at the numbers on the right-hand side, they're conceding 0.4 goals per match. But look at that stat on the right-hand side, which no one really is talking about right now. Liverpool are averaging 2.2 goals per game. They're also only conceding 1 goal a game. I personally think this is another audition for Marc Guehi. This January window, Konate, we'll get onto him and Real Madrid shortly. These run of games, Palace, Galatasaray, and Chelsea, 3 away games on the bounce. Then they go into international break. If they win their next 3, that will be 10 out of 10 wins on the bounce, which would be absolutely insane. International break, they play Man United, 2 more away games, Frankfurt and Brentford. They've only got 2 home games in their next, 7 games. That is going to be a tough run. Now, one thing that is incredibly interesting is they only have 3 senior centre-backs. And we've spoken about this quite a lot recently, but I want to speak about Marc Guehi because what's fascinating about this is he wanted to join Liverpool. He agreed personal terms, right? It was up until the very, very, very last hours of the transfer window. The paperwork was then put in for Guehi to maybe join at a later date. His contract expires on the 30th of June. Could he leave and join Liverpool in January? The main thing for Liverpool is, can they get to January with these 3 senior centre-backs, with Van Dijk, with Konate, with Joe Gomez? Now, Joe Gomez isn't the Joe Gomez of 4 or 5 years ago, but he still can play a big role in this. You also look at Konate has only registered 30-plus games in a Premier League season once in 5 years. So he does have an injury in his locker. You also look at Virgil van Dijk. He is 34 years of age. Can he play every game? Like, if they progress to the latter rounds of the League Cup, you'd imagine he'd play them. But I think they can get through to the League Cup without playing him. One thing that will help Liverpool is they have got international breaks, which, if you're Arne Slot right now, you're turning around to the French FA, you're turning around to the Dutch FA and saying, listen, these 2 centre-backs aren't going. I don't care. That is what I'd be doing if I was Arne Slot. I couldn't care less. They're not going. Marc Guehi in January is a possibility for me. I think Liverpool go in for him, and I think Crystal Palace won't be in a position of strength because he only has 6 months left on his contract. It's clear to see he wants to leave, right? So then you look at it. Do Crystal Palace want to lose him on a free and try and see out the remainder of their Premier League season, bearing in mind they're also in Europe, right? Or do they want to try and get the maximum amount of money they can for Marc Guehi? Now, another centre-back that could be leaving, and I have a feeling he will sign a new deal, and that is Konate. Now, Konate is another one. I think he only has a year left on his current deal as well. 26 years of age, part of CIA Stellar Agency. His contract expires 30th of June, 2026. The long-term Liverpool centre-back partnership for me looks like Konate and Guehi. Virgil van Dijk in 2 years for me will probably slow down. If he keeps it up, it's absolutely remarkable. But that would be one hell of a centre-back partnership. One hell of a centre-back partnership. It really, really would. You know, Virgil van Dijk, for me, the best centre-back of this generation. At some point, he will slow down. Who comes in? Does Konate join Real Madrid? At this moment in time, I don't think he does. And then you've also got, Ekitike is out of this game at the weekend. Now, in the predicted lineup, looks like Alexander Isak will be starting up front according to FootMob. This is the predicted lineup they've gone with. Now, obviously, this might not necessarily be true. But then we've gone with Gakpo on the left, Salah on the right, McAllister, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai. No Florian Wirtz in the 10. Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk, and Kerkez. I personally would go with Robertson for this game. I think as an actual defensive fullback, I think he's better than Kerkez. In terms of players injured, though, of course, Leone. But they're missing not really any huge players, are they? They're missing Giovanni Leone and, of course, Hugo Ekitike. Now, when you look at the run of games they've got coming after that, they then go on to play Galatasaray on Tuesday night, which, again, is another massive, massive game. Could Liverpool start with back-to-back wins in the Champions League? And then it's the Chelsea game. When it comes up to that international break, Arne Slot, in theory, should say, look, thanks, but no thanks. Van Dijk's not playing for the Netherlands and Konate's not playing for France. Let's be honest, they're friendlies, they're World Cup qualifiers, they're not massively important. Both teams should win their respective games without those players fit. And yeah, Liverpool right now, 7 on the bounce, look really, really good. you can't really say, you can't critique them whatsoever at this moment in time. The Wirtz slander is over the top. Will they sign Guehi? Does Alexander Isak have a full 90 in him? That, again, another really, really important factor, because you're going up against a Crystal Palace side that are physical. Players like Guehi, players like Mateta in the air. And, of course, they'll be without Leone because of his ACL tear. Pino and Sarr both look very, very, very good going forward. I'm a big fan of Meniz. I'm a big fan of Richards and Lacroix. I think this is going to be a fascinating game. Do you think Crystal Palace have enough to drop points, to make Liverpool drop points? Plus, if Liverpool do go and drop points, it puts massive pressure on Arsenal, who then go and play Newcastle at St James's Park, where they haven't scored in their last 3 visits to that ground. It's going to be a fascinating weekend of Premier League football. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. I'm out.